Seahawks fans, you need to subscribe to Seattle Seahawks today if you haven't already. And one example I'd point to, folks, that we talk about all the time around here is the fact that if you subscribe to Seahawks today, it does not cost you a single penny. It's absolutely 100% free. Compared to ESPN Plus, you're paying $120 a year for that, folks. And why would you bother paying for ESPN Plus when you can watch us each and every day? All of our daily exclusive content doesn't cost you a thing. Subscribe now. Make sure all your friends subscribe. Give them a free subscription to Seattle Seahawks today, the gift that keeps on giving all year long. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV, and we'll get started with today's show. Glad to have you with us here on the program. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for stopping by. As ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. has a brand new 2-round mock draft. And on today's show, what we are going to do is we are going to show you who Mel has the Seahawks taking, and we will react and share our thoughts and show you Mel's analysis coming up in just a moment. I think it's worth noting before we dive into this, folks, that Mel Kiper, who's the absolute best in the biz, the draft would not be what it is today without Mel Kiper Jr. He is one of a kind and created the industry basically by himself. This is Mel's last mock draft before the actual thing here in a couple weeks from right now. So if you're looking for final thoughts and analysis on what Seattle's going to do, this is it here from Mel Kiper Jr. So let's begin with pick number 18 as Mel is projecting. The Seattle Seahawks go with Kelvin Banks Jr., the offensive tackle from the University of Texas, at 18th overall. Let's listen more what Mel had to say about the selection. Banks gave up 3 sacks over 42 career starts at left tackle for the Longhorns. He's agile for 6'5" and 315 pounds and has some pop. The Seahawks have Charles Cross at left tackle, so Banks would help elsewhere on this lackluster offensive line. Right tackle Abraham Lucas has played in just 13 games of the past 2 seasons. The guard spots are both issues. Banks could fit in at any of those spots. New quarterback Sam Darnold ranked 7th in the NFL in QBR when he had a clean pocket in Minnesota last season, 74.5. Facing pressure, he was 22nd, 23.4, so it's pretty clear Seattle has to address the pass protection to maximize the Darnold signing. I think personally this is a great pick by Mel Kiper Jr. here, the man that loves to eat pumpkin pie for breakfast and watch The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson reruns at 11:30 every night. He is one unique individual, but at the end of the day, he knows ball. And this makes a ton of sense. Well, I don't know exactly what Kelvin Banks would play in Seattle, whether it's right tackle or guard. Maybe you move Abraham Lucas to the guard spot and start Banks at right tackle, whatever it may be. There's a lot of unknowns, a lot of variables that you had to figure out. With that said, don't know exactly where he would start, but he would start somewhere. I would find a spot for Kelvin Banks in this starting 5 on the offensive line, and I guarantee he would make a dynamic impact right away and be a difference maker for this Seahawks team. I can tell you that much right now. Kelvin Banks played his entire career with the Texas Longhorns, won all the Big Hog Molly awards last year, from the Outland to the Lombardi to the Jacobs Blocking Trophy, a unanimous first-team All-American and a first-team All-SEC selection in 2024. His grades, according to Pro Football Focus, were very good as well, with an 86.0 overall grade, pass block grade 89.8, run block grade 81.0, pass blocking grade stronger than run blocking, but both were very solid. Only allowed 1 sack. I called for 7 penalties. Gave up 2 hits along with 7 hurries included as well. Let's go over the scouting report for Kelvin Banks Jr., what exactly he brings to the table. It includes the following. He has smooth footwork. He's patient, and he can be trusted in space. He has the desired agility out of his stance. He is consistent in the initial point in attack, but he does lean a bit too much in pass pro. That'll be something he needs to work on there. So, what do you think of Mel's selection here? Do you agree? Should the Seahawks draft Kelvin Banks Jr.? It's our pinned comment today. You got two options here. Type S for select, P for pass. Weigh in the comments section and let us know. Today's show is sponsored by our friends at GameTime. GameTime is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether they're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, GameTime's got you covered. GameTime makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the GameTime app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, their lowest price guarantee, GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. GameTime is the official ticketing partner of Seattle Seahawks today. And with GameTime, you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. GameTime makes last-minute ticket buying easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. They have their zone deals where you save even more when you choose a selection. Let GameTime choose the seats. They have their all-in pricing where you can find the prices at the best value pretty simply and easy. They have their seat views where you get the panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. And with GameTime, the lowest price is guaranteed, or GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. Also, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase. Maybe it's tickets to go see the Mariners. That's a hot ticket, and there's some good value on that there in Seattle. Maybe you want to go see the Kraken, whatever it may be. So many good events, all there on GameTime. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPRTS for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last-minute tickets. Lowest prices guaranteed. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. Next up, Mel Kiper Jr. projecting the Eastern Carolina cornerback Shavon Revel Jr. at 50th overall to the Seahawks. And if that name sounds familiar to you, it should, because last week on the program, we had a mock draft from Field Yates, who also projected Seattle going with Shavon Revel Jr. in the second round. Let's hear more from Mel Kiper. Seattle hosted Revel this week on a visit, and the fit makes sense. The Seahawks have Rick Woolen at one outside corner spot, and Devin Witherspoon can play both outside and in the slot. Once Revel is back on the field and at 100% after his torn ACL, he could be the other outside corner. He has speed and length, and he makes plays on the ball. In 3 games last season, he picked off 2 passes and took one of them back to the house. You talk about value here, all right, folks? If Revel didn't have that injury that forced him to miss most of last season, without question, he would be a surefire first-round pick. And so with that said, okay, he slips to the second round. And assuming he's healthy and all the medicals add up right, then that's going to be incredible value, I think, if you get him in the second round. You get a guy that's ready to be your starting outside corner. That would be a step up from Josh Jobe and playing alongside Woolen and Witherspoon. I think it'd be a great fit for what Seattle wants to do defensively. More on Shavon Revel Jr. Began his career at Lewisburg College. Then he went to East Carolina after that. And there was a lot of hype about him entering this season. Second-team preseason All-American. Last season in 2023, he was a second-team All-American Athletic Conference selection. And here's the stats, folks. Even though he only played in 3 games, look what he did in those 3 games. Does that jump off the page or what, my friends? 4 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and 1 touchdown the year prior. 4 TFLs, 14 pass breakups, and 1 interception. And his coverage stats were really good. He was a lockdown corner in 2023, allowing just 19 total completions and a QB rating of 61.2. He was really good. Meanwhile, you take a step further look at his scouting report. He has a filled-out frame. He's got great length, good straight-line speed for his position, ball skills, and body control as well. The pad level does get a bit too high at times, but I don't think that's something that he can't work on or adjust. We got one more pick from Mel Kiper Jr. in a moment, but first, what do you think about Shavon Revel Jr.? Should the Seahawks draft him? Type Y for yes, N for no. Get in that comment section and tell us what you think. Last one here for you at 52 overall. Mel Kiper projecting Seattle goes with Iowa State wide receiver Jayden Higgins at 52 overall. Let's tell you more what Mel had to say about Higgins. Let's continue a wild 2 months of wide receiver turnover for the Seahawks. To recap, they traded DK Metcalf, cut Tyler Lockett, signed Cooper Kupp and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Higgins could bring a little bit of the physicality that Metcalf brought with one of the draft picks that come back to Seattle in the Metcalf trade. He's 6'4", 214 pounds, and showed his explosion at the Combine with a 39-inch vertical. Higgins caught 87 passes last season for 1,183 yards and 9 touchdowns. I watched a lot of Higgins at Iowa State over the last couple of years in the Big 12 Conference. I'm a big fan of his, and I feel like that he was undervalued because he was playing in the middle of America at Iowa State, that you had a lot of his games on Fox Sports 1 high definition, maybe if you're lucky. Nobody really knew what was going on there in Ames, Iowa, outside of us in the heartland and in Big 12 country. Jayden Higgins was dominating opposing defenses left and right, and I think he's got potential to be a star in the National Football League. He looks the part, but the tape is there, and he's been able to put it all together as well. Began his career with Eastern Kentucky, then went to Iowa State. He was a third-team All-American selection this past year, along with being a second-team All-Big 12 choice on top of that. And here's what I talk about the numbers, folks. He doesn't drop too many passes. Only 2 drops this past season, 1 last year, 9 total touchdowns, close to 1,400 yards of reception, and nearly 1,200 receiving yards. Not to mention, one more point, folks. He did all this with having to be in the receiving corps as his teammate Jalen Noel, who is going to be drafted pretty high in his own right. And yet they both still shine together with taking away statistics from each other. The scouting report, he's got a high football IQ. It certainly shows in his route running and the decisions he makes on the football field. Soft and reliable hands. You can count on him to make those catches. And we talk about trying to find a DK replacement. DK, remember, he had his struggles dropping some passes in some key moments. If he's going to step into the DK role in size, it would be kind of refreshing to have somebody that doesn't drop the football a whole lot. Grass finder against the zone. The grass is always greener with Mr. Higgins. He wins contested catches. He uses his size to his advantage. Straight line speed, a bit average, though, if we're going to be frank. But other than that, I like what I see from him on that front when it comes to Higgins and his scouting report. So if you had to pick one to draft between these 2 second-round options from Melvin, are you going with Revel or are you going with Higgins? Type SR for Shavon Revel. Type JH for Jayden Higgins. Let me know. So, some final thoughts on this. If this ends up being the first 3 picks for Seattle, these 3 individuals, then I think we all should be very pleased at the end of the day. If you tell me they get Kelvin Banks in the first round and they follow up with Revel and then Higgins, I mean, I'm sleeping like a baby. That's a hell of a start to this draft, and you're taking care of 3 positions of need with 3 talented players that all should be day 1 starters. Mel, he's very good at this for a reason. I give Mel an A for this mock draft that he put together for Seattle. I want to run through the other picks, by the way, the first-round picks for every other team in the NFL from Mel, just so you get an idea of what we're talking about here. Mel has the Titans going Cam Ward, number 1 overall. Travis Hunter goes to the Cleveland Browns at number 2. Abdul Carter to the G-Men at number 3, as Abdul Carter heads to the G spot there. Then at number 4, we go Will Campbell to the New England Patriots. Mason Graham to the Jags at 5. Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders at 6. Armand Mimbo to the Jets at 7. Jalen Walker to Carolina at 8. Shedeur Sanders falls all the way to 9 to New Orleans. Shedorleans, I believe is what they're calling that. And then you got Tyler Warren cracks the top 10 going to the Bears. Will Johnson, the Michigan corner, to the Niners at 11. Hampton, the North Carolina star running back, he goes to Dallas at 12. Barron, the corner from Texas, goes to the Dolphins at 13. Colston Loveland to the Colts at 14. Mike Green, I like him a lot. He's seen his stock rise out of Seattle's range. Already gone by then to Atlanta at 15. Another guy that we've seen a lot of mock drafts have ending up in Seattle. He's already gone before Seattle picks. Matthew Golden from Texas. He goes to Arizona, staying in the division at 16. Jahad Campbell, linebacker for Bama, goes to Cincinnati at 17. There's the Banks pick at 18. And then Iman Wari, the safety from South Carolina, goes to the Bucs at 19. T-Mac slips all the way to 20 to Denver. And then some others include Derek Harmon at 21. Gray Zabel, the offensive tackle from North Dakota State, goes 22 to the Chargers. Williams, the edge rusher from Georgia, goes 23 to Green Bay. Donovan Jackson goes to Minnesota at 24. Connerly, offensive tackle from Oregon, goes to Houston at 25. Jackson Dart is the quarterback of the future in L.A., and we all sit here laughing. Ha, ha, ha. And then at 27, Malachi Starks goes to the Ravens. And at 28, Donovan A. to the Lions. And then your final 4 picks include Shamar Stewart to the Commanders at 29. Harrison out of Kentucky, the corner, to the Bills at 30. Josh Simmons, the offensive lineman from Ohio State, 31 to the Chiefs. And then the final pick of the first round, James Pierce Jr. at 32. Mel has his entire mock draft available on that paid subscription service of ESPN Plus for the other rounds if you want to see that besides what we just went over on your screen. But, hey, you don't have to pay for us. You heard us talk about at the beginning of the show. How would you grade Mel's final mock draft? You know, they've been talking about Mel retiring. Could that be the last mock draft ever from Mel Kiper? I hope it's not. Give Mel a grade. I'll go away. Let me know in the comments section. Appreciate you joining us here on Seattle Seahawks today. Your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, saying so long. Thanks for joining us.